Hey, thanks for watching this video. Today we are going to remove the rear wheel off of our Ducati Monster M1100. This is going to be the same as like your 848, 1198, any Ducati with a single-sided swing arm. So I put a zip tie on the retaining clip and I just clipped that zip tie off. I put the bike in gear, it doesn't matter, first or second gear. Pump up the brakes a little bit, and then I have an ammo can to put some weight on the rear brake to help keep that rear wheel from spinning. So now I'm going to take that retaining clip off of the axle nut, and it is very tight. So the Italians use a German torque standard. It's called Guten tight, and so that nut is very, very tight. I don't give torque specs, and typically when I'm doing a Ducati, I don't really torque down the rear wheel. If that gives you a hint, I just line up the pin. We'll talk about that later. So here's a Michelin tire that I've pulled off the back of my 1100, and you can see where I'm already past the rubber. I'm into the carcass on the left side of that tire. So there's a good reason why you should replace your tires when they get down to the wear marks. These tires were not that good to begin with, but that's a different story. So the rear wheel, I went ahead and I was playing with my tire balancer, and I dynamic balanced this rear wheel. Dynamic balancing, unlike static balancing, puts weight on both sides of the wheel, and it usually takes about 5 or 6 spins to get it 100%. But it's almost guaranteed to get every bit of vibration out of it. And just playing around, I did it with the rear wheel just to see how much weight it would take. I have been on a ride since then, and the rear of the bike does feel amazing, but that's probably the Bridgestone S22s, because the S22s are maybe the greatest tire available right now. I did not static balance, or I did not dynamic balance the front tire. It just called for too much weight, and I don't like having a whole lot of weight on the front. So again, I'm going to tighten down my rear nut. There are torque specs for this. I'm not going to tell you what the torque specs are. I'm just going to tell you what I do is I get the nut as tight as I can possibly get it, so the retaining clip fits into the hole. As long as you're probably over 120, 130 foot-pounds and your hole lines up with the nut, you're good to go. So there's my retaining clip in place. We're good. You don't have to put a safety wire or a zip tie through this clip, but it's not a bad idea. It's not going to hurt anything if you go one step farther into your safety. What matters is if you live another day to ride tomorrow. So like I said, I'm just putting a zip tie in there. This isn't necessary, but it's just something I do on all my Ducatis, any Ducati that I work on. That way I know that retaining clip is good and tight in the rear wheel. So we're pretty much done right now. I'm going to take my weight off my brake. I'm going to knock the bike back into neutral and make sure that the wheel spins, and then all is good in the world. So here we are, we're back in neutral. Give it a good spin, and thanks for watching my video.